Welcome to Biblical Theology. Today I wanted to do a part two, looking at this passage on the sons of God and daughters of Adam. Of course, this text is a very debated text, and this phrase, the B'nai Ha-Elohim and the Benot Ha-Adam, the sons of God and the daughters of the Adam, or the man, I guess you could say here. Who are they? And we talked about how the seeing and the taking for themselves wives from, how that is often a idiom in the Pentateuch, particularly used in the context of not intermarrying with pagans. And so it raises the question, could that be what this is about? And of course, greatly debated text, but it is interesting that when you look at these two genealogies in chapters 4 and 5, when you compare them, you start with Adam, and then you have a genealogy that ends in Lamech, and you start with Adam, and a genealogy that ends in Enoch. And you can see that there is a comparison there between these two lines with Seth, who is Abel's replacement. It says in the text, men began to call on the name of the Lord, and so that is a phrase used throughout the Bible to show God's people. And so you have kind of a line that is rejecting, maybe you could think of those who rely on themselves, kind of Adam in just his fallen humanity. And then you have the line of Adam, equally fallen, equally in need of God, but calling on the name of the Lord for help. And you have Lamech, who's kind of the quintessential development of evil over time. He's the first polygamist. He's the first multi-murderer. Cain committed fratricide by killing his brother, and Lamech is multi-murdering, and even the text says, I think I killed a young man. So the idea that he's killing people, and even young people, and he's marrying two women, not God's design. And so you kind of how that plays out over time is Lamech. But then you have the line calling on the name of the Lord, equally fallen, but seeking the Lord for help. And so you wonder, is there some kind of comparison here between those who are trying to do it on their own and those who are coming to God for help? Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. The question becomes, when we look back at the text, and let me move over here, who are these people, the sons of God? Well, it's very interesting when you look at the genealogy in 4, you end with this woman. And what's interesting, I can probably put this on the same page so we don't have to go back and forth. There are no daughters mentioned here. In this line, you have the statement, and fathered other sons and daughters, but here you only have one daughter mentioned, and that daughter is this woman, Naamah. Now, you may or may not know that all the names in the Hebrew Bible mean something, and often when we're looking at the story to look up what the name means, many times that will give you an insight into what's going on. And if we do that, and we can do that in Logos by doing a biblical word search, we can see that the word Naamah appears 4 times in the Hebrew Bible. And this is the root it comes from, to be lovely or to be pleasant or delightful or friendly. The word Naomi, you can see, is related to this word Naam. And so you have all of these words, looks like there are probably a lot here, pleasantness, delicacies. But think of this word lovely. And then when we come, why is this the only woman mentioned? And if we just keep reading and we come to our debated text in 6:2, notice it says, the B'nai Ha-Elohim, the sons of God, saw the Benot, the daughters of Ha-Adam, that they were Tavot. And I think we talked last time that this is the word good. You can see here in Akot, translates fair, but it's the word tov. And, to see that's to yara ki tov. I mean, that's, the Lord saw it was good. The Lord saw that it was good. The Lord saw that it was tov me'od, mega good. Eve, when she looks at the forbidden fruit, she sees that it's good and she takes it. And so when we have the B'nai Elohim seeing that the Benot Ha-Adam, that they are Tavot, this is, forbidden fruit language. They're seeing and they're taking. Of course, we saw last time that this idea of intermarriage, that's a main theme in the Pentateuch. And so, if I can get back to my presentation, the idea that this lovely woman might intermarry, that what's going on is that those who are calling on the Lord are choosing to intermarry. Well, Abraham says, you better not take a wife for my son from the, daughters of the pagans there. If you had an intermarriage, the text could be suggesting that Methuselah, those who call on the name of the Lord, the sons of God, saw that the daughters of Ha-Adam, that they were good, lovely. That would explain perhaps why this one in the godly line is naming his son after a multi-murdering, wife-abusing polygamist. The text perhaps is not about angels and women, but rather about the very temptation that faced the original readers in the plains of Moab when Balaam said, look, I can't curse these people, but if you find the most beautiful women you can, they'll turn their hearts away. And of course, you see that in the story with Samson. You see it with Solomon. You see it with David. You see it with the priest coming back. You perhaps see it in the garden when the text says that Adam wasn't deceived. Paul says that in 2 Timothy 2. Well, if he wasn't deceived. Why would he rebel? And perhaps Augustine's right. He's choosing his wife over God. He's choosing a beautiful woman who's telling him to sin against God, and he has to make a choice between this beautiful woman, his wife, and with following God, and he chooses the beautiful woman. In the meta-narrative, there's only one Son of God who can marry a daughter of Adam, and he does it by changing her and giving her a new heart. I don't know. What do you think? Look forward to your interaction in the comment. Thanks.